In this video, we are going to discuss initiator. What initiator? In the previous lecture, we have discussed by addition with respect to what? With respect to free radical. Clear? So we have already discussed free radical addition reaction or polymerization. So in this video we are going to discuss that how we can produce initiator. So we can produce initiator with so many ways. The first one is by heat. So we can produce initiator by using heat. We can produce initiator by using ultraviolet and visible radiation, and we can produce by using current, by using what? By using high energetic radiation, that is alpha radiation, beta and gamma and or neutrons. Clear? And maybe protons. Clear? And we can produce free radical by using what? Redox reaction. By using redox reaction. So first of all, note these three ways, these ways, that is approximately 5 ways. So we can produce radical by heat, ultraviolet and visible radiations, by current, by radiations, that is these highly energetic radiations, and by redox reactions. So note down, and then we will discuss each stepwise. Okay. So first of all, we want to discuss that how we will produce radical or initiator actually. But we know that the radical or initiation step, we produce a radical. Clear? When we produce radical, this radical propagate, this radical is responsible to make a polymer. Clear? So in radical addition polymerization, we should produce radical as a initiator. So we can produce initiator or radical by so many ways. The first one is by heat. By heat. Clear? So we can use different types of compounds from which we produce what? We produce initiator by using heat, and that is actually peroxide compounds, peroxide organic compounds. Clear? Peroxide organic compounds. Clear? And some azo compounds, some azo compounds. Okay. So from azo compounds and peroxide compounds, we produce different types of radicals and free radicals. So in industry, we actually use azo compounds. Clear? So I want to share some examples. The first one is benzoyl. For example, we have benzoyl peroxide. We have benzoyl peroxide. What? Benzoyl peroxide. So for example, this is a phenol benzene ring, for example, as this is peroxide, and this is also keto group phenol ring, benzene ring, or actually, so this is known as benzoyl peroxide. Benzoyl peroxide. Clear? So what happens when we heat it? What? When we heat it, so we produce so many types of radicals. The first one is what? By using heat. In first step, what produce? In first step, it produce that intermediate. Okay. Homolytically, this bond break up. This bond break up homolytically, and again what happened? And if we heat further, what is formed? this radical is formed plus CO2. Clear? So we can produce free radical from peroxide organic compounds. Clear? So this is benzyl peroxide, and what happens when we heat it? It produces this radical and this, just like intermediate, which is converted into that, and carbon dioxide is released. Clear? So another example, that is azo group or azo compound. Clear? Azo means having nitrogen. Clear? Functional group as you can see here. For example, this is azo compound. Clear? This is the nitrogen double bond, and this is cyanide or CNR nitrile group. This is CH3. This is CH3, and here is also CH3, and nitrile or cyano group. Clear? So azo, its name will be azo. Bis means two. Clear? Azo bis. What? Methane, ethane, propane. What? Methane, ethane, and propane. So bis isobutyl nitrile. Bis isobutyl nitrile. Clear? This is an azo compound. Clear? Why we call it an azo compound? Due to this functionality we call it azo compound. So its name is azo bis. Bis means two. Bis, this is isobutyl and this is isobutyl, and this is nitrile group and this is nitrile group. Okay? So when we heat it, clear? So what happened? This bond break up. Okay? So what is formed? The first one is what? So can I write it as simply? This bond will break up. Clear? And this bond will break up. So this will become radical and this will become radical, and also this N and N will be released in the form of what? In the form of nitrogen gas. Okay? So you know from example as I have drawn here, the azo group released as a nitrogen gas, and this become radical and this become radical. So these were the two examples of what? Of the way by which we can produce radical by using heat. Okay? So these two methods, or these two examples, is relating to what? Is relating to that way by which we can produce radical by using heat. Okay? So, and these radicals are called initiator in free radical addition polymerization. These radicals to which we have produced are called free radical initiator. Clear? Or simply initiator in what? These radicals are called initiator in free radical polymerization or free radical addition polymerization. Okay, so the next is by using what? By using ultraviolet radiation. Clear? The second one is by visible and ultraviolet radiation. So by using visible and ultraviolet radiation we can produce a radical also. Clear? And these radicals are called initiator in free radical addition polymerization. For example, this is a benzene and this is also a benzene ring, and these are attached to each other by keto group, carbonyl group. So this is known as biaphenyl biaphenyl ketone. Clear? This is biaphenyl ketone. Clear? So in the presence of ultraviolet and visible radiation, what will form? We can get free radicals, that is that radical, and also we can get this radical. Okay, so this is biaphenyl ketone. By using ultraviolet or visible radiation, these radicals can be formed, and these radicals are called initiator in free radical addition polymerization. The next example, that is related to what? Related to visible and ultraviolet radiation, that how we produce radical by using ultraviolet and visible radiation. Clear? So one example is clear, that is a second example. For example, we have benzene ether. What? Benzene. We have benzene ether. What? Benzene ether. For example, this is one benzene ring. Clear? And this is, for example, carbonyl carbon. This is hydrogen, and this is what? For example, ether, and this is another benzene ring. Okay, so when we heat it, so we can get two types of for example, when we use ultraviolet and visible radiation, two types of free radicals are obtained. The first one is that which works in free radical addition polymerization, and the second one is that which is also used in free radical polymerization. Clear? Okay, so by using ultraviolet and visible radiation, we can produce free radical. One example was biaphenyl ketone, and second example is benzene ether. Clear? This is ether group. This is ether group, and these are called benzene ether. So this was benzene ether. Clear? So in third case, we can produce free radical by using current. So by using current, we can also produce free radical. Okay, because current can work. Clear? Can compel the reagent to oxidize or reduce. So by using current, we can produce initiator for free radical addition polymerization. For example, this is a solution. What? This is a solution. Here is a node. For example, here is a node. This is a node. Clear? And this is what? Cathode. Clear? So for example, if here present salt of carboxylic acid, salt of what? Salt of carboxylic acid. So if this is a solution, and this is anode, and this is cathode, and here solution of carboxylic salt is present. So for example, this is anode. For example, anode. Clear? Anode. Okay, and if in solution that is present, clear, salt of salt of carboxylic acid is present. So when we applying current, it come in contact with anode and form what? This radical plus CO2. Okay, so by using current we can also produce free radical. This is an example where we have salt of carboxylic acid. This salt, clear, this negative ion come in contact with anode and form this radical plus CO2. Okay, so the next example, in the next case 4, we can produce radical by using what? By using highly energetic radiation. Clear? So you should know, by using radiation, that that may be what? Alpha, beta, clear, and gamma. Okay, so for example, this is a compound, clear. So when we apply beta radiation, what? Beta radiation. So you know that beta radiation is actually negative ion. So when we apply these electron on this compound, so you know what will form? For example, this compound to which I want to represent as, clear. So one of these will attract electron. So what will form? A plus beta, what? Beta negative, B negative. For example, this is a compound, clear. When we apply on this compound beta radiation, for example electron, so this bond is break up. Okay, so this electron is got by this, clear, and free radical is formed, clear. So if we have ABS and apply gamma radiation, so we what will formed? We will get A plus beta dash, clear. Okay, so by using, you know that this is neutral, clear. So and it can ionize. So when we apply beta radiation, electron is accepted by this B and form negative, and when we apply gamma radiation, so electron are removed from this compound, clear. So you know that by using radiation, anionic polymerization, cationic polymerization, anionic polymerization, cationic polymerization, and free radical polymerization takes place simultaneously, clear. By using highly energetic radiation, three types of addition polymerization takes place simultaneously. First one is free radical polymerization, anionic polymerization, cationic polymerization. But actually if these three species are present at a time, then free radical polymerization takes place, clear, dominantly. Okay, so the fifth case, by on the base of which we can produce radical, clear, is what? Redox reaction. So by using redox reaction we can also produce free radical. Okay, so by redox reaction, so for example there are so many compounds that actually perchlorate, clear, and just like permanganate, okay, and peroxide, just like H2O2, clear, and this is oxidizing agent. When this react with Fe+2, okay, this is an oxidizing agent, hydrogen peroxide. Oxidizing agent means it can attract, it can obtain electron from this. Okay, So when this react with this is metal ion, so we can obtain hydroxide ion, this radical plus Fe plus 3. Okay, so this is our initiator. So these were 5 ways, clear, on the base of which we can produce initiator. So initiator can be produced by radical the radical for addition or free radical addition polymerization may be produced by what? By heat, clear, and by ultraviolet and visible radiation, clear, and second thing what? By highly energetic radiation, okay, and by redox reaction and so on, clear. So note down, it is very important with respect to free radical addition polymerization. In the next video we will discuss another type of addition polymerization.